right now, it would be interesting to talk about like if us as darker skinned people were aboriginals of America, or if we actually came from Africa. I think that would be an interesting topic. I've played in Africa and lived in Africa, love African people and what they stand for. I think it would just be awesome to know where we actually came from.
So that Ancestry.com and all that stuff, you don't think that's legitimate?
No, I don't think it's accurate.
So you believe that we should be
It's too many of us here. You know what I mean? I think there's a distinct difference between us and
the native Africans.
Native African. I mean, we can look at an African, so that's an African. I think we look at people that look like me. I've played in Kuwait, and if I can speak Arabic, people would assume I'm Kuwaiti. If I could speak Spanish, people would assume I'm Dominican.
Right.
If I could speak most native tongues, people would assume I'm that. Most people that are native of Africa don't have that fluidity in their appearance.
That's true.
As we do.
That's true.
So it begs the question,
are we actually natives of that continent? Yeah, there's some buzz going around that there were some people of dark skin that's not from the continent. Yeah.
And they said Pangea happened, and I mean there's speculation that America and Africa were kind of very close in proximity, so we could have belonged to a tribe that was very close in proximity, but wasn't necessarily directly
related to the continent,
Africa.
Right.
So I think it would just be an interesting topic.
I agree with you, and I think that's a good one. Okay.
Yeah,
man, I appreciate that help. I'm having some Great Northern beans. Randall's. It's a pretty good product. I like them. Randall's Great Northern beans. I put a little coconut milk in it. Put some coconut milk in it and olive oil, little olive oil, vinegar, honey, lemon juice, and I sprinkle some ginger over in there, ginger powder, and I let that heat up, and I also put some coconut sprinkles in it. It's the first time I ever had it like this. It's okay, it's not bad. I would suggest if you try that, to let the beans cook a little bit longer so the flavor can absorb the beans, because the broth in it is really good, but the beans have a little less of the flavor, and I think if I had to let it cook a little bit longer, I probably would taste it in the beans also. Did you know that natural flavoring and concentrate is just another word for sugar, added sugar? They found a way to get around the word added sugar by using the words natural flavors or concentrate. Now concentrate, I kind of sort of figured that out. I kind of knew that. It makes sense, but I never knew natural flavoring was another word for sugar. I did some research on it and found this out. This is when I started checking the ingredients in everything that I ate, because I didn't want to eat no sugar. And so I started reading everything in ingredients, and I came upon a video about natural flavors, and the guy explained everything about how they use natural flavors and concentrate as words to substitute sugar. So, I mean, you can do your research and see how accurate that is. I've been living by that since I've been eating like this, so it works for me. I say that because there's natural flavors in coconut milk, even if it says unsweetened and organic. I couldn't find any that didn't say natural flavor, but I don't eat it all the time. This particular coconut milk, the one in the can doesn't do that, but this one is a different one. It's more liquid, I think it's already mixed with water, and that's what I wanted for these beans. And I don't use it all the time, so I didn't really feel like I was risking too much by eating it this time. The other day, when I was at Little 5 Points, I ran into this guy, and I asked him my question, and he said that people should be talking about the future. But he wouldn't elaborate, and he wouldn't do it on camera. And I was like, oh man, that's a great subject. Why don't you give me more? And on camera, he said no. He was with his family. He kept on moving, man. And I'm thinking, wow, I wish he had a great idea. The new year brought in a new president and a new energy flow. How will this new energy affect the course of humanity's future?
Okay, how you doing? My name is Taj.
Hi, George.
I feel like it's already affected humanity. I think it's been affecting humanity, and I think that there's been, in my opinion, from 2019 when COVID first happened up until now, there's been like a dramatic shift in energy. And what was the second part of the question?
Well, I wanted to know how do you think this new energy that started in 2025, a really big wave came in and it's affecting humanity. How do you think it's going to affect the course of humanity's future? Because when energy changes, we change.
I think on a minuscule level, on a micro level, I think that it's going to affect the way that people socially interact.
Okay.
But I think on a macro level, it's going to affect future generations of human involvement with one another.
Okay.
Deeper than just socialization, but like, I think people are just
the way we're going to
lose the amount of awareness that we once had about one another. I feel like at a point in time there was more love for humanity and we were circulating that better. I think now that it almost feels a little tense.
Okay, do you think that tenseness comes from the fact that this is a new energy and that none of us are used to it? But I think that we will evolve with this new energy. And you're right about the tense, because I feel it all the time. But I tend to believe that it's going to cause us to be totally different than what you just said. I think we're going to be more loving as we go on because of this energy. We're going to adopt to it. Do you feel?
I beg to differ. I think that right now we're in a weird state.
That's for sure.
And I think when people feel weird, people tend to back off a bit and become a little standoffish. And I feel that there's just like, it almost feels like there's an elephant in the room. And I feel like a lot of people don't want to address it because they'd rather not. A lot of people don't want their opinions to trump like the love that they do have for humanity.
Right.
But I think that it really is going to have an adverse effect. I do see your point of it bringing people together and creating,
but not before it do some damage.
And I think it must fall in order to be built back up.
That's another good point that I kind of overlooked.
So I think that right now we're just in a stage where people are just learning how to process everything that's going on. So I think in that learning how to process, people are discovering new things about themselves, about the world, but I also think people are shying away from voicing their opinions these days, and they have already done that in the past, but now it almost feels like people look at it as
backfiring on them.
Correct, like a weapon, and it's like a silent weapon. But
I think so. I hear you. I hear where you're coming from. Wow, that was a really good answer you gave me, and I like the your thought process. Well, we'll see, because the future is here, and we're living it. But I think I I think you're correct.
Yeah.
Okay. And what's your name again?
My name is Tahaj.
Tahaj?
Yes.
Thank you, Tahaj, and I
Thank you.
appreciate you taking the time.
Absolutely.
Anything else you want to add? Are you think that you did enough?
I feel like I did enough, but I will also just say, like, I feel like people need to be more wary of how sometimes in silence you can also be taken advantage of. So I would just advise people to be involved, do a lot of research, and just try to stay up to date on what's going on in the current modern day world, because a lot of things can get lost in translation. And I feel like if you're not as aware, you can be ignorant. And I think that, as we know, ignorant is bliss. So, like, don't be ignorant. Stay informed.
Don't allow yourself to shut down.
Outlets to kind of bring that energy and, like, keep it alive.
There you go. Don't let it get stagnant.
Correct.
Right.
Or don't let it deprive you.
Right.
Definitely, because I feel like we're also in times where a lot of people are, it's such an unprecedented time that people are just trying to figure out how to cope with it. And I feel like the way humans cope these days is pretty weird, but
outside influences, huh?
Correct.
Yeah.
And that's really big on energy when you think about energy. So smile more, and like
I will be authentic.
Yeah. I think authenticity.
If you're not feeling
important.
smile, don't. But if you're feeling smile.
Yeah. I agree. But I think you should smile all the time.
Okay.
No matter what, if you feel like smiling or not.
I hear you.
I feel like smiling is a great way to uplift your energy.
That's true. And it uplifts the people that see it, too.
Yeah. It's just very friendly. It's sometimes you look at people, they just don't smile. So, yeah.
Okay. All right, man. Well, I appreciate that. Yeah. Thank you, guys, okay?
Personally, I like the energy coming in. I think it's beneficial for humanity. I think I like what Trump's doing with he's trying to denuclearize the nations with Russia and China. Got military spending in half, which I think could definitely save humanity. Otherwise, it could be a nuclear war, which would end humanity. So I think that's good energy. And then I like Elon trying to go to Mars. I think that's great energy. So I'm hopeful for the future.
So in spite of what many people may be saying, what you just said is something that you detect, and that you feel there are more people that detect it just the way you do and feel the same way you think?
I think a lot of people.
Because I feel the way you just feel, so I think there's a lot of people feel that way.
Yeah, I think you can see with the last election, I think the majority feels that way. So.
Okay, so you think this energy is some good energy for us?
Definitely. I think before that, we were on the brink of nuclear war. So
yeah. All right, man. Well, thanks. Anything else you want to add?
No, that's it.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Have a great day.
All right. You're fine right there, because better off to So do you think it's going to lead us into a better place? This new energy?
I don't believe it's going to lead into a better place. I just believe it's going to lead to a different place. In my opinion, all this new energy that's going on is going to do one of two things. It's obviously trying to set us backwards and set us back to time before. And in a way, it is a terrible thing, but I also think what it's going to do is going to cause us to have to do something different, especially as Black people. I believe it's going to actually help us to see a different light and maybe to become more aware of what's really happening around us. And those changes are actually going to help us get closer together. So I think it'll be good for us in the sense that it's going to force us to have to find a new way to come together and re-energize some of the things that our ancestors did, because we love to talk about how we're not our ancestors, but yeah, we're not. And not in a good way. They did a lot to get us to a very good place, and we actually need to do better. So I think it's going to push us to do that. And if anything, I'm happy for that. But it's actually going to shine a light on all the foolishness and show you how bad off it really was.
That's what I really think too. Yeah, that was really good. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no
Thank you
problem.
so much for that. Like,
what I see when I go outside, I see a lot of people with trouble. It's when you go down and get out these exits, it's hundreds of people sleeping on the street because they can't afford housing. They can't afford a car. They can't afford anything. Probably not even a hotel room. You know what I mean? So I see it as this energy is chaotic.
The new energy that's coming in, or are you saying that this is the same energy that's been around?
No. Well, that's the energy that has been around, but I would say this new energy that's coming in.
Because there are people, it's divided. I get a lot of people that say that they can see some improvement. They will see improvement in this with this new energy. And then there are other people saying that the energy is causing us to go into a dark place that make us go inside and sort of examine ourselves.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Everybody has to go through that. I feel like everybody is actually going through that right now. I know that I'm going through that. I know my partner is going through that as well. You know what I mean? So
and the course that this new energy is taking us, do you think that's going to make people more awakened, or do you think it's going to continue to create this darkness that you see when you leave, like you said, in the exits?
I feel like it's going to continually cause us to awaken, but I feel like it's all about the work you do on the inside, and that's going to that's going to shift your perspective on what's actually going on. You know, we all live in this, you know, physical realm, but I feel like some of us, with our perspective, we live in different worlds.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yes, sir. I know what you're saying.
And you know, the way I see things could be totally different from you or him. You know what I mean?
Right. So the energy is going to affect us depending on where our consciousness is at.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
I got you.
Absolutely.
I understand.
Absolutely.
All right, man.
100%.
Anything else you want to add to that?
Put in the work. Everybody that's watching this, put in the work. Do what you can to heal from your traumas. Do the inner child work. Please do it. If you haven't talked to your mom, your dad, your uncle, your cousins, anybody that has hurt you, you know, or forgive them and forgive yourself. You know, just heal in every way you can. Journal, write, you know, do whatever it is. You know, meditate, whatever. Break stuff. No, seriously, it takes that sometimes. Break stuff. You know, they got places where you can pay to break old TVs and all type of stuff. So break things.
Don't hold it.
Huh?
Don't hold that in.
Don't hold on to it, because it's going to burst one day, and you may do it on the wrong person. You know, and that may cost you your life. So
there you go. All right, man. That was good.